Good evening, everybody. Happy New Week to you. And welcome to today's episode of ATP Live, as the Paediatrician Live. As usual, we have Hafiz on the show with me, in person of Dr. Gbemisola Boyede, who will be answering all your questions. Please bear in mind that we would like you to invite family and friends to join us on the show. Please share the link with your friends, with your mother-in-law, with your sister-in-law, your neighbors, and as many people that have toddler, newborn baby with them. Dr. Gbemi is ready to answer all your questions. Please, as you are asking your questions, if you're asking any questions on complementary feeding, or you're asking questions on your baby weight, please do well to tell us the baby birth weight and the current weight and your baby date of birth. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Please join me as I welcome Dr. Gbemisola Boyede on the show. Dr. Gbemi, good evening, ma.
Good evening, Abimbola. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for everyone who are joining us on today's program on all our groups, Instagram. People, I can say you're welcome. And those of you who are listening, also those who are watching on YouTube, you are welcome. I think what I've been trying to do is to make sure we share the videos and making sure that everybody can see and everybody can hear. So welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. And like Abimbola said, please share the video, invite your friends, and drop your questions. Make sure you give us enough information to answer the question without just to make sure everybody can, we understand what you're asking and we can answer your question. We have just an hour to do this. However, if we run out of time, just to remind you in case we forget at the end, like you can always post your questions on Hacks the Pediatricians Facebook group from Mondays to Saturdays. I have 24 hours daily and somebody will be there to answer your questions. So welcome, everyone. Yes. So what I've been trying to do is to make sure I share the videos to all our Facebook groups and everybody can see it and can hear us. So thank you so much for those of you who are watching on Instagram. I can see your questions coming in already. Keep dropping them. So I'm just going to use the remaining 1 minute to just make sure I pin all the videos on our group, so making sure that people can see it quickly immediately they come online. So thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you. While Dr. Gbemi is trying to share the link on all our pages, please, I want to encourage all the mothers that are online today. There are some of your questions that you usually have on ATP Live that we already have on our group. Please do well to always go on our group to find out if your questions have not been answered before. Questions like baby weight and complementary feeding, all these are on our group. Please always go there to find out first if they have answered your questions before or not. Dr. Gbemi, can we go home, ma'am?
Yes, I think we can start just 1 more minute. I think it's just, a minute, 1 second. I just want to pin the last video. Okay, so
while you are still doing that, is that time of the year that we recruit more people to join us? If you have been watching this live every week, you have been following us on Facebook, either on Instagram, on YouTube, and you are interested in joining us, is that time of the year that we put this out. Maybe you want to be a moderator, you may want to be one of our interns, you may want to be a volunteer, both online or offline. Please look out for the link that you're going to follow to fill the form. This is going to be on any moment from now. Don't miss this period, because if you don't do this at this moment, you have to wait next year again. So if you know you are interested in joining us on Ask the Paediatrician Foundation, this is that time of the year that we recruit people to join us. Please check our Facebook page and our Instagram page for the flyers. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Malara. I don't know
Welcome.
your mic. I think there's something. Just check on it a bit.
Okay,
Um,
ma'am.
yeah. Okay, so welcome. I can't see any question yet on Facebook, so I think I'll just start with Instagram because there's lots of questions already on Instagram. I think Instagram people came ready, battery ready today. All right, so I think we can start so that we can answer all your questions on time. Thank you so much once again for joining us. This program is brought to you by Ask the Pediatricians Foundation, and we're just committed to making sure that no Nigerian child or African child or even any child all over the world die from preventable causes. And that's what we do through our Health education platform on social media, our community medical outreaches, and like Bimbola said, you can be part of us. We welcome you to join us, and you can also donate to support our outreaches as well. So thank you. I just want to say that because we may not remember it at the end. All right, so let's continue. So the first question is from Toll PL. Please, ma'am, my baby is not getting fat and she eats well. She's 2 months plus. Okay, so when you're asking that question, I think Omolara just said it. Always include the age of your child. I mean, the weight of the child, preferably the birth weight and the current weight. So that's what will help us to be able to answer. So you're saying your baby is not fat. I don't know how true that is. That's your own assumption. But if you give me figures, facts, and figures that we can work with, then we can answer that question. So, what was the base weight of the baby? What is the current weight of the baby? Those are the information we need to be able to answer your question. But for your 2 months old baby, all we want you to do is to breastfeed your baby exclusively and on demand. So, if you are breastfeeding your baby exclusively, your baby's weight will be okay, will be age appropriate because that is all a 2 months old baby needs now. So since you're the first person, I believe you're still listening to me. So give me those information and also tell us how you're feeding your baby, and then we can take it up from there. Thank you. Then dear Sola, good evening. Good evening. Thank you. Style by Bori. Say good evening, doctor. My baby will be all right, let me just mute this mic. My baby will be 5 months in a few days' time. She started sitting without support about 2 weeks ago. Um, I want to know if it is not too early. Should I keep encouraging her? It's not too early. Some children are faster in doing certain things than the other children. So if your baby is able to sit by herself, that is fine. You don't need to discourage her. Just let the baby be alone. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I think those are all the questions from Instagram. So I can come back to, oh, sorry, there's still one question in the question box. Okay, so Temi say, is it advisable for my 11 weeks old to watch cartoons? He enjoys watching it. The answer is no. Okay, no screen time for babies. And now even babies up to age of 1 year, even some of us will stretch it to 2 years. No screen time. All right. So we want your 11 weeks old to have time to bond with you. So you are their TV that they need at that age. So speak to your baby, play with your baby, interact with your baby. That is the back and forth that that baby needs for their brain to develop, not the one from the TV that gives them no feedback or anything. So no screen time for babies. Don't use TV, laptop, whatever to babysit babies. I'm not saying you can play music for them or things like that. That's fine. But we don't want children sitting down watching TV at 11 weeks. No, not at all. Even when they're about 1 year, 2 years, we don't want you to let them use more than 1 hour of screen time. All right. So children should learn to play and interact with people they can say, not with the screen. So don't start them on that habit so early now. All right. So no screen time. Thank you for asking that question because it's so important, and I'm happy you asked,
Yeah.
and I'm getting the right answer. All right. So let's go back to Facebook.
Thank you, Dr. Gbemi. So we have a question from one of our Facebook users. Please, how do we treat a noisy breathing in a baby of 2 months? Not cough or catarrh.
All right. Thank you so much. For those of you who are asking questions from our Facebook group, you have to give. If you look at the beginning of that video, you will see where you say give StreamYard permission. So if you want us to see your name, you have to give StreamYard permission. Otherwise, we won't see your name. We will only see you as a Facebook user. So to answer your question, there are a lot of colds and uncolds noise that babies make, especially in that first few months of life. And and I'm happy you've already told us that the child doesn't even actually have any cough or cat or anything. So there's really nothing, the baby is not having an infection, so the nose is not blocked and all that. So if the child is making noise, the first question we want to know is what is the noise this baby is making. There are different kind of noises that babies can make at that age, and not all the noises are wrong or they are abnormal. Some of them, there's something wrong with the noise, okay? So because you say, how do we treat? So when you say, how do we treat, you already assume that that noise is due to something that you have to treat. And what I'm trying to say is first is that you don't have to treat anything. It may not be something you need to treat. It may not be anything wrong at all. So usually babies, when they are born, their airway, for yourself and myself, our airway are made up of, they are very rigid, they are made up of very strong cartilages and all that. So when air is coming in, it goes in and out. There's not much of turbulence and all that. But for babies, the airway is still very soft. So when hair is going in, sometimes there's deviation of that airway. So there's a lot of turbulence, and sometimes you hear it as noise. Okay. So it is not all the noises babies make when they're breathing that means there's something wrong. However, there are also noises that mean something is wrong. So because it's difficult to know which one it is now, because we are not seeing the baby, we are not hearing the noise right now, we will recommend that you see a doctor. And so when you go for your next immunization at 10 weeks, because your baby is 2 months, so 8 months, 8 weeks. So in another 2 weeks, you go for immunization, let them hear. You can record it. You can even, if your baby is breathing like that all the time, you can just show the doctor. So when they hear the sound, the doctor will be able to tell you, okay, this is just normal breathing sounds, or this is one of the ones we worry about. There are some conditions like what we call laryngomalacia as well that can make babies to have those kind of noisy breathing. And we really still don't do anything about it because we know that as babies get older, as the airway becomes stronger, thicker, more bony, more rigid, less flexible, then the noise will go away. But sometimes some noises are actually due to obstruction, like there's something blocking the airway or something like that. Those are the ones that we worry about. And those are the ones the doctors will now tell you what to do, whether we want to see the ENT doctors and all that. But most of the time, there's actually nothing wrong. It's just those the airway that is still immature, that is still very soft and pliable. That's the right word we use, that is making the noise. So you don't have to do anything about it. All right. So I hope that is clear. All right, let's move on. Omala, can you unmute yourself?
Thank you, Ma. Thank you. So someone is asking whether I would like to join ATP Foundation. How, please?
Okay, for those who want to join ATP Foundation, like Omolara said at the beginning, we are going to put up our links for you to register to join us. Everybody is welcome to join us. You don't have to be a doctor, a nurse. You don't have to be a medical person to be part of ATP. We have medical volunteers. We have non-medical volunteers. Every profession is welcome. And for those of you who are especially, there are three categories of people that we're recruiting. So we're recruiting volunteers for our community outreaches. So we actually go to the community. So we are not a social media organization, noisemaker kind of thing. We actually go to real people. We actually go into schools. We actually go to real people and we touch them. And these are not people that are on social media. These are not people you're going to meet on Facebook. These are very indigent communities. So if you want to be part of that community of our volunteers, and we have chapters in all the states of Nigeria. So irrespective of the states you have, or even including Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, you are welcome to join us. And then we usually do at least 2 outreaches every year, though we're trying to change things around a bit, but we do outreaches, so you are welcome to join that platform. The second category, for those online, our moderators. So we answer questions every week. We answer close to 1,000 questions every week. So supporting parents, helping them to know when to go to the hospital, helping them to understand how to prevent infection, because health promotion, disease prevention is key. We don't want children to be sick before we start running up and down. We actually want to make sure that the children are not sick by you doing the right thing first. So that is what we do through this kind of social media platform. So we need our moderators who help us to moderate all those platforms. We are one of the largest parents group on Facebook, over 700,000 members. Ask the Paediatrician's Facebook group. So we definitely need a lot of moderators. So, and our moderators are very, they have to be trained. They have to be very, because we are dealing with, this is a group, our group started because wrong information can cause problem. And we all know the problem of misinformation on social media. So we want people to have the confidence that when they come to HCP, they are going to get the right information. And of course, all our health professionals are also full-time people that work, hand their own labor. So they cannot always be online 24/7 answering your question. We also have to earn our living as well. So we need moderators to assist us. So for those who are going to be our moderators, they have to be well trained. They have to know how to respond and all that. So it's not for just anybody. ACP is not just any Facebook group. It's a very specialized group. That's what I always tell people. So if you think you have the capacity, you have the passion to help people, you will have the time, you have the IT skills, and you are savvy about it, and you are teachable, okay, and happy to take corrections, then you are welcome to join our moderator team. And then finally, we have our interns. Interns actually work with the CEO for like a year, and usually we use interns for specific purposes, like some of our administrative responsibility, like our graphic design, our website, our social media handles. Our interns help us in those areas. So if you want to be part of our interns, it's a 1-year internship. You're welcome to volunteer. Internship is non-salaried, is zero. Nobody had any cover on ATP, so everything is volunteer based. So but you can trust me that the experience you're going to get, we're going to give you your certificates, and those are things that you're going to take with you, and you're going to get they'll be useful for you in future. People have used our certificate to apply for visa, people have used it to apply for jobs, and they get it because people are like, wow, you volunteer for such an organization, you will be a good person. And I'm not exaggerating, that's the truth. So you're welcome to be part of HCP. So we'll try and bring out the links for you to click on apply. You can apply for the whole of November. For some posts like the internship and moderator posts, we actually interview you, but the volunteers in the States, everybody is welcome. You will learn on the job. The most important thing is that you are available and you are happy to go out when we need to go. So just watch out for those links. I hope that's helpful. Unfortunately, I don't have them right now. I'll put them up, but after the program, we'll try and put them up for everybody. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to our questions. Omolara, why are you always missing yourself?
I'm actually some background noise.
Okay,
so
fine.
Please, my baby will be 3 weeks tomorrow, but she has been pooing for like 3 to 4 times daily. Should I be worried? Also, our tongue is kind of white. Please, what can I used to cleaning. She's on exclusive breastfeeding. Birth weight 3.6 kg. Thank you, ma.
All right, thank you so much. I'm sure you are a first-time mother. Congratulations for the first-time mothers. I'm very passionate about first-time mothers. I prefer to work with first-time mothers. They are willing to learn. So let's start with the stool. 3 to 4 times a day stool is normal. It's not diarrhea. It's not abnormal. So babies can pass stools up to 12 times a day. So that is perfectly normal as long as it's not like watery, like urine, and it's not hard. So what we want for the babies is for the stools are usually what we call like semi-formed stools. So it's a mix of water and solid. So it's like a goosey soup kind of a thing. So you have some part that is thick and solid and some part that is watery. That is normal stool for babies at that age who are on exclusive breastfeeding. So, and they can pass it up to 12 times a day. So that is not diarrhea, because I see a lot of first-time mom thinking their children have diarrhea because they are passing through 3 or 4 times a day. That is normal. They can pass it up to 12 times a day. As long as it is not watery, and watery for them means like water, like real water, like urine, like you can't even see any solid bits in it at all, then that is when we'll count it as diarrhea. And so, like you rightly are doing, keep on breastfeeding your baby exclusively. So the 3 to 4 times a day is fine. In terms of the mouth, so I think what you are describing about the tongue is the what we call milk coating. So the tongue of babies, because they are sucking milk all the time, can be coated with the milk, so it looks whitish. And all you need to do is to use clean, like face towel, and just put it in water and use it to wipe the tongue. That is all you need to do. Please don't use glycerin. Don't use any mouthwash. Don't use tomato. What else do they normally recommend? Don't use anything else. Just use only clean cloths and water. So that is what the dentist recommend. And you can just do it once a day. Like whenever you are doing the bath in the morning, you can just clean the tongue and that's fine. And you can wash that particular piece of cloth so you can use it again. So that's all you need to do in terms of cleaning your baby's tongue. So first time mothers, I have lots of resources for you. We have the first time mom companion. We have the 500 frequently asked questions by first time mom. So if you are interested in that, just ask us. It's available at a token, and I think we're going to put them on Amazon very soon. So you can, some of you say you prefer the hard copy. Currently it's in a digital form, but for those who want the hard copy, just watch out. Hopefully for the end of the year I should be able to get them on to Amazon. So they are very lovely products, and we actually run first time mom courses as well. Maybe we'll start running that again the new year, so you can also join our course. And those who have attended it find it very useful, because every question you need to know as a first time mom, before you ask, we already have the answers for you. So it makes your it makes motherhood very lovely and very fun. You are not worried about anything. You don't need any Omugo. That is your Omugo book. All right. So thank you. Let's move on.
Thank you, ma'am. So, Dr Gbemisola is asking, my baby is 1 year and a month. Birth weight 3.4 kg. Current weight 10.1 kg. My baby sweats so much. Should I be worried about it?
Okay, so thank you so much. The weight of your baby is fine, so nothing to worry about. So when you say sweat so much, again, like I said at the beginning, we always like to have objective measurement. So what is much to you may not be much to me as a pediatrician, for example. So it's okay for babies to sweat. All of us sweat. There's nothing absolutely wrong with that. So, but when we only worry about sweating in a child who is sweating when everybody is shivering for cold. So that is the only time I'm going to worry. So in other words, if the house is so cool, you're in an AC room, and everybody else is almost shivering, and your child is sweating, or your child is sweating so much that you have to change their clothes, or your bed are like practically soaked in water, like you have to take it out and dry it, then that is when we will count it as sweating too much. So if your child is not sweating to that level, I would not say it is too much. So you always have to let us you have to give us yardsticks to know whether it is much. But if your child is just wet normally, it's really after eating or breastfeeding and all that is fine. And some of you overdress these babies as well because of the myths around cold not entering their chest, because you don't want. So every time children are always clothed, and even when the weather is burning hot outside. So dress children according to the weather. If your child is not sweating that you have to keep changing the clothes or soaking the bed or sweating in a very chilled AC room, I will not count that as too much. And if the scenario I gave is what is happening, then that is when you need to come to see us, and then we can investigate to know why the child is sweating excessively. I hope that's helpful for my namesake, Dr Gbemisola. All right. Okay, Malara, I think we should just jump to Instagram a bit and come back.
Okay, ma.
I can see the questions are piling up in Instagram. All right. So let me know where I stopped. 1 minute. Okay. So I've seen where I stopped. So somebody, Shifel Girl. Okay, Shifel Girl is one of our consistent Instagram. When I see your name often, I remember the names. And so my daughter of 7 months has low blood. Okay. Since she was born, the last time we checked, her PCV is 25 and she's here to crawl. So if your baby has been having low blood level or PCV, what we call anemia, what is the cause of that anemia? Has your doctor told you? Because that's the most important information to know why. So when we know why, then we can answer what to do about it. So you need to let us know. I believe that your doctors would have told you why your baby's blood level is low, and then I want to know what have they done about it, and then we can talk about why is it still low. But baby PCV at 7 months should not be 25. It should be at least 30 and above. So 25 is definitely still low. But you have not told me any other information. So I think you should see a pediatrician and then you should ask them all those questions. They should be able to give you the answers to those questions. That's number one. Then about crawling, babies don't have to crawl at 7 months. Most babies crawl at 9 months. So there's no hurry when it comes to children's development. Just relax about it. We will start worrying when your baby is not crawling by 1 year. So, and some babies actually don't crawl. That is the honest truth. Some babies just stand up and walk. They don't crawl. They just keep the crawling path or the bottom shuffle. You know what? They move their bum. So they don't crawl, but they move their bum. So crawling is not really one of those milestones that we worry about because some babies don't actually do it anyway. So, but we will worry if your baby is not sitting independently by 8 months, your baby is not walking by 18 months, then those are the things that worry me about the baby. So I hope that's helpful. All right, the next question, Iberi Joanna, sorry, I hope I got it right. Good evening, Doc. Please, is there a difference between meningitis A vaccine and meningococcal vaccine? Okay, my son already has meningitis A and is scheduled to have meningococcal vaccine for 2 years. Okay, now I know where you are going. So there's what we call meningitis, that is a disease. So, and the bacteria that cause the meningitis, you can call it the meningococcal bacteria. Okay, so Neisseria meningitidis for the medical jargon people, but just say meningococcal bacteria. Now, that particular bacteria has different, what we call strains or type. So you have the men A. I would just call it men so that to make it shorter for and remember, so I don't keep saying meningococcal. It's a little bit wordy. So we have what we call men A. We have men B. We have men C. We have men W. We have W125, then we have men Y. So you have about 5 strains of that one particular bacteria. And if I can digress a little, this is why when parents tell me, oh, my baby had a particular vaccine, then why should my baby still have that particular infection? This is the reason, because even for one particular bacteria, you have different types. For example, we give you pneumococcal vaccine for pneumonia. Now we have the one that is 10. So you have the one that is PCV 13. which means we cover 13 serotypes, but there are still other serotypes that we're not covering. So, but what that means is that we try to cover the most harmful of them all, the most serious of them all. That is what we try to do. So we don't, even when we give vaccine, we are not covering every possibility. We are only covering the most virulence of them, or the one that is likely going to cause serious illnesses. So that is what we do. And that is why your child can still have infection, even against conditions that they've been immunized against, especially things that are bacteria, because bacteria tend to have different types of them. But the good news is that most likely, even if I thought they are going to have it, they're not going to have the most terrible ones, because the most terrible ones would have already been covered by immunization. So coming back to meningitis, so that is why. So in Nigeria, in Africa, Men A is the most prevalent of all those bacteria types that cause meningitis in our own city. In those of us who live in what we call meningitis belts in the Africa, so Men A is our main problem. So Nigerian program on immunization, we give the vaccine against the A type of the meningitis bacteria serotype. So what you get from NPI that you get at 9 months is a Men A vaccine. But there are other vaccines for Men C. There's also the ones that they combine, about 4 of them, ACWY. So some private hospital gives those ones that has 3 or 4 serotypes combined together. And that's usually given at 2 years, because there's a way they have to give it. So that and children usually have to take it from age of 2 years. So that is exactly what is happening. So if you have taken Men A, you are covered against Men A, but you're not covered against Men C, W, and all that. But the assumption is that we don't really have much problem for the other ones. So I personally don't think you really need to take the other one. But if you want to be sure your child is fully covered and fully protected, then you can take the one that has multiple serotypes covered. That is the ACWY, the ACW and the Y all together in one. So that is, if that is the one they are going to give you at 2 years, then it's fine. But please make sure that's the one they're going to give you, and they are not giving you Men A again, because you're already taking Men A at 9 months. You don't need to repeat that. So, but remember that you're not going to get that one for free. You are going to get that one, you are going to pay for it, because it's not part of the Nigerian program. So the Men A that we give is free, but if you're going to get any other type of meningitis vaccine that has multiple serotypes covered, you are going to pay for it. So it's up to you what you do. So, but you can trust me that the ones that we worry about the most in Africa is Men A, and that is the one. 90% of the meningitis we have in Nigeria and most of sub-Saharan Africa is due to meningococcal type A, and that's the one that we give as part of the Nigerian program on immunization. So I decided to go into details on that so that everybody will understand and they don't get confused. Somebody said I want to volunteer in Lagos. I think I've answered that. Somebody said my baby's birth weight was 3.6. Present weight is 8.6, 6 months old. Lovely. He started crawling 5 months and same time standing with support. It is possible that he's trying to it is possible that he's trying to achieve. I'm not sure what it is. Always just go straight to your question quickly. You've given us so much background information, but I'm not sure what your question is. Somebody saying, how do you control stroke? This is a pediatrician platform, so children can have stroke, but I really want to know which of them you ask. Are you asking for a child or are you asking for an adult? So you can so I will know how to answer the question. Let me not say it's not appropriate, but let me ask you. Oh my goodness, I think we should come back to Instagram. There's so many, the question I just building up. So let's go back to Facebook.
Yes, Facebook, please.
The questions on. There are lots of questions, about 8 of them in the question box. But let's just take a break so that Facebook people don't get tired of us. We can come back.
Thank you. So, thank you, ma.
We've answered this.
So one. Please, ma, my baby will be 3. Okay, we've done that. So my baby, we've also done.
No,
Okay.
not.
So good evening, ma. Please, how do I stop aspiration in my 11 weeks old baby? I'm always scared to put her down because breast milk will always come out of her nose.
Okay, so breast milk coming out of your baby's nose or mouth is not aspiration. We need to, when you're asking question, avoid using some jargon. Just say what it is to you. Breast milk is coming out from my baby's nose and mouth. Let the doctor decide which one it is, because what you describe is reflux, but you're calling it aspiration. They are two different things. So aspiration means the food has gone in the airway, and usually that baby is choking. Baby is struggling to breathe. It's like, when you represent pain, you're being like you take food, your food has gone the wrong way. And usually it's not a very comfortable position. It's almost like an emergency. We need to get rid of the foreign body. We need to, so aspiration is more dramatic and is stressful, is an emergency. So hopefully I hope your baby doesn't aspirate, because if your baby is aspirating, that's an emergency. You have to go to the hospital. But if your baby bring back milk, sometimes from the mouth, and sometimes it can also come out through the nose, because the mouth and the nose, they open to a one space together in at the back of the throat. So both of them open into one common space. So now, babies can have reflux. It's a very common thing for babies to have reflux. It's not something to worry about. I've explained several times on this platform why that happens. Babies have very small stomach. The gap between the mouth and the nose and the stomach is very short. They are taking liquid. Okay, there's supposed to be gates between the food weight, what we call the esophagus, and the stomach. That gets supposed to, normally when you eat, that's why people can eat with head stand, like they can put their head down and be eating. Because when they eat, when the food gets to the stomach, there's a gate that closes. So, and the food will just go in there, it can't come back. That's what happened in adults. But in children, that gate is not yet fully mature, it's not fully formed yet. So it is easy for you to open and for food to go back into the esophagus often. And so that is actually what happened in reflux. So remember, it's liquid, it's small stomach, short space. So when a baby has finished feeding and you put them down immediately, the food just return back, and that is why it comes out from the mouth and come out from the nose. So when you finish feeding your baby, you should not put them down immediately. You should always keep them upright or in a vertical position for at least 15 to 30 minutes. During that process, digestion has started, the acid is mixing with the milk, and so it's becoming curdled. It does not completely stop reflux, because that's why sometimes you see bring out a little, but when you bring it out, that one is a little bit thicker and it's not much compared to if you put them down immediately, then they bring out almost the whole milk. And sometimes if they bring out the milk, if it's too much, it will come out through all the openings. It will come out through the mouth, it will come out through the nose, and sometimes it can even go down into the airway, and that is when they begin to aspirate. So make sure you keep your baby upright and pat their tummy, pat them on the back and all that. So the food kind of settle before. Don't feed the baby and quickly go and put them fly, which is what most parents do, because most time when baby are sucking, they suck and then they sleep. And so mothers are very happy, and then they just put the babies down straight away so that they can go and attend to all the 1,001 other things they need to do for that day. No, you don't do that. Just keep the baby upright, or just give the baby to the dad. Let them put the baby on their shoulder, or you can some people put the baby in their car seat and slant it in a way, or even some of the baby cots, some of them they have the function for you to slant them so that baby can actually be upright and not flat. So you can do that. So some babies have very bad reflux. Some babies ones are mild. Most babies will have reflux. It will tend to get better as they get older. The distance between the stomach and the mouth and the esophagus begins to become bigger, and then the tummy is also bigger. It can hold down the food, and then they start eating solid. Then most of your problem with reflux will go, because they start taking solid. The food is solid. Solid does not easily return like liquid. But some babies have very bad ones that we actually, for preterm babies, and some babies have very bad reflux. Sometimes we have to thicken the milk. So if you see, so for such babies that have bad reflux, how do you know whether your baby is having bad reflux? your baby is not gaining weight, your baby is bringing back almost all the milk, baby is not gaining weight, that baby have bad reflux, that baby need to see a pediatrician. So what we have other options. So we can thicken the breast milk. So we have what we call breast milk thickeners. We tend to give that one to our preterm babies. We thicken the milk so that the milk stays down, it doesn't come up. Or we can also give some other drugs that prevent reflux, we give that as well. So that is only for very severe cases, but most babies don't need that. Babies are gaining weight well, baby is only bringing out a little milk. You don't need to come to see a pediatrician for that. Just put your baby upright, pass the bath 15-30 minutes before you put them down flat. So a little will still come out. It's not going to disappear completely. That is fine. We can live with that. It is only if it is really bad and maybe it's losing weight, that is when we want to see you at the hospital. All right, let's move on.
Thank you, ma. So well done, ma. Please, can I use costly baby powder on newborn heat rash?
All right, thank you. Number one, we don't like powder on baby's skin. Okay, powder just dry the skin, so no powder. I know all these lovely, sweet-smelling people that sell baby products, they just pack everything. There's lotion, there's oil, there's powder, there's soap, and they're all smelling nice, but they are all not necessary, okay? Because number one, we don't need the powder. We want the skin of the baby to be moisturized. So when you put powder, you dry the skin. When you dry the skin, it's itchy, is easier for bacterial germs to enter when you begin to scratch. So keep the skin moisturized. Oil, lotion, they're fine, but make sure you don't use something that's, some babies have very sensitive skin. Some babies will use all those products and they will be fine, but some babies have very sensitive skin. Sensitive skin means when you start using all those chemicals on their body, they begin to have rashes. So, and most mothers call it heat rash. It's not every rash that is heat rash. So we need to know which rash it is first. That is number one. But the best way to prevent rashes is to make sure that you use natural products on the skin. Only once a day bath. Natural soap if possible, or the normal tablets, the normal toilet soap. Natural products, your Vaseline, your olive oil, some products that are hypoallergenic for babies with sensitive skin, like your Dove products, your Sebamed. You can use those ones on them, but no powder on the skin. If your baby has rashes, we need to see the rash. We need to see the rash to know whether it's newborn babies can have rashes that are normal rash. They are, when we say normal rash, it means we don't need to do anything. Just leave it alone. It's just going to clear by itself. So, but some rashes are due to infection. Some rashes are due to reaction to the products. So if you use the wrong products again, and all those common things that people use, because people say, I'm just going to use that as if it's a magical formula to clear all sorts of rashes, most of them will just worsen the rash. So please don't use anything until you show us. Like if you can post a picture on our Facebook group, or you ask your doctor or your pediatrician, then you'll be able to advise you. But the best thing is to make sure you use the right products on your baby's skin from day one, and then you don't have any problem, and you don't have to break the bank. Just use natural products, your ori, your shea butter, your coconut oil, your olive oil, anyone that they've not had perfume inside, it's fine on the baby's skin, and that's all. And babies don't need to be bathed 3-4 times a day. They're not dirty, they're not going anywhere. just clean them and just oil their skin, moisturize it. That's all they need, and they'll be fine. All right, do you want me to go to Instagram?
Maybe we can take one more question from Facebook, ma.
Yes, okay, let's take this one that is on, and then we can go.
Thank you, ma. Young Queen. Hi, doctor. Good to see you again. Can my baby take Cipri good? It was given to me by her doctor because I reported she's not eating. My neighbor thinks it makes children dull and slow brain growth, but increase baby's eyes and weight. Baby is a year old. I'd love to hear your take on advantage and disadvantage. Thank you, ma.
Thank you so much for asking the question. Number one, no. Your baby cannot take Cipri good. I'm sure you are new to me, because if you are aware of ACP, you will know that you cannot take Cipri good. And I don't care who ever prescribe it for you. No. All right. So don't give your child any Cipri good. Don't give your child any so-called appetite stimulants. There is nothing like that. I know, you see, there are people that try to make money. All right. All they do is they are all interested in just the money, and they know what you want. So they know mothers want eating mixture. They know mothers want something to make their children eat. And they just concoct all these things. And see, the regulatory bodies, NAFDAC, FDA, all those regulatory bodies, their job is not about efficacy of drugs. Their job is not to say, if you say paracetamol will cure headache or no, that's not their job. Their job is to know whether that product is not containing anything like a poison that when you take it's going to cause it's going to cause death or something. That is their own job. There's no impurity or something. So as long as that drug is something that anybody else can take, that is where their own job ends. Okay, but it's not their job to tell you whether that drug, if the person says it can cure cancer, yes or no. That's not their own job. They're not going to comment on that. So Ciprigold is cipreptadine. It's a product. It's actually what we call a serotonin inhibitors and all that. It's a drug that is used for certain things, for certain people, usually in adults. It is not for children. But one of the side effects of that drug is that it can give you appetite. You feel like eating when you're taking that drug. But that is not the reason for that drug being created. Okay, it is just a side effect. So that drug is not meant for use in children. Okay, it has a lot of terrible side effects, dangerous side effects. Okay, so it is meant for people that have some particular some particular kind of allergic condition that we use it for, very rarely. So it is not meant for children. So people that are marketing it for children is wrong. Okay, so do not give it to your children. If you go to our Facebook group, you don't even need to go to our Facebook group. Just go to Google. Just type it, cipreptadine, and look for the side effects. Just read it alone, and I'm sure you have enough fear of God not to give it to your children. And I've said it 100 times, a million times, I don't know. There is no appetite stimulant for children, okay? If your child is not eating, the only drug that your baby still need is food, okay? There is no other drug. It's not even multivitamins. There's nothing else that is going to make your child eat than food. So people always ask the question, what can I give to my baby that will make my baby eat? What can I give to my baby to make my baby eat? It's food that you're still going to give to your baby. There's nothing else you're going to give. There is no drug to make your child eat, okay? You need to give your baby food to eat. You need to use strategies. You need to offer food. You need to use your patience. You need to try different food, and you just keep offering it until your child eats. Don't fall for everything is not drug for this, drug for that, drug for this, drug for that. And everything is not drugs. So let's just settle that one and for all. Some of you are saying you're thinking you are giving your baby drugs. I think another mother posted this particular question. A child was sleeping for maybe the whole day or something. These are very terrible drugs with very dangerous side effects. No pediatrician is going to prescribe them. All right. So if you see any doctor who is prescribing them, most of them don't even know what they're doing, or they don't know. They are not doctors for children, so they won't know what they're doing to be prescribing that for you. So there is no advantage. Is all disadvantages. So don't give Ciprigold, and it comes under different name. I don't know, forgetting all the names now. Super appetite, super appetite. There's all sorts of different names for them. Let me just tell you for free, any drug that tells you it's an appetite stimulant for your child, run from them. Don't give them. Is that cipreptadine they put in? Cipreptadine, yes, it increases appetite, but that is not the primary purpose why that drug is made. It is meant for some other thing, and it's like we are giving something that your child does not need into your body. So all the other side effects, all its effects on the heart of your baby, all its effects on the intestine, on the liver, and all those. How do you account for those ones? You're not going to account for that. So you're going to end up with more trouble solving something that is not even your child is not meant to be using. And I'm a doctor, but I can tell you the less drugs you put into your body, the better for your baby. And we don't want children having drugs at all. If your child doesn't take any drugs at all, it's better than for your child to need to take drugs. So we want to use drugs only when they are necessary or absolutely necessary. So please stay away from appetite stimulants. There is none that is licensed or recommended. So just stay away from them. Give your child food and be patient with them as you give them the food. All right, let me go to Instagram and then we can. I think I have so many questions on Instagram. So Aniki baby, my baby is 5 days old. I noticed some discharge from her eyes when she wakes up from sleep. The doctor gave us eye drops today. I want to know if it is okay. Okay, number one, I actually don't like commenting on other doctors' management of your baby. So I can't say whether it's okay or not. I didn't see your baby, so I can't give a second opinion. But what I normally recommend, your baby has any high discharge, clean it first in the morning, just clean it. If it is whitish and all that, just clean it. But if your baby during the day is still having high discharges, usually tends to be more yellowish and all that, and it's gumming the eyes throughout the whole day, then that is the one that is more likely going to worry us. And that is when we are going to prescribe eye drops for your baby. And the eye drops has to be an antibiotic eye drop, but please don't use chloramphenicol eye drop. Chloramphenicol eye drop should not be used in children below the age of 2 years. So if that is what your doctor prescribed for you, I can tell you for free that you should not use that one. So you can go back, but I'm sure your doctor should know that as well. So that is my comment about that one. The next person say, can I have your number or email address? Nene Gift. Okay, so Nene Gift, if you want to have private consultation one-on-one with our pediatrician, I'm sure our number is somewhere on our profile. So go get it or send us a DM. It is not a free service to have a one-to-one chat, or it is what we call consultation. All right. So it's important for people to know that a doctor is a service provider. So this is what this doctor do to earn their income. So you cannot take it from them unless they offer it to you. So what we do on our platform is what we offer to you. So if you want to come to us for a one-to-one, you are requesting a consultation. By law, a doctor must charge their consultation fee. So just to clarify that. So, but if you want to have free questions and answer, go to our Facebook group, drop your question there, we will answer you. But if you want to have a consultation, we do that as well. But just to clarify that it is not a free service. All right. Okay. So Nana is saying, my daughter is 3 years old. She doesn't sit in one place. How do I help her? So your question is not very clear. What do you mean your daughter doesn't sit in one place? I guess your daughter is very busy. Some level of business or hyperactivity, like parents will call it, is still normal for certain age. So there's certain age we don't expect them to sit in one place in the first instance. But if you think it's over the top, maybe from your own perspective as a mother, you're comparing her to another 3-year-old, your daughter is not following instruction. And all. I think the best people to ask are the teachers. Ask if your child is already in a nursery, you can ask the teacher whether they have concern. Because usually in school, there'll be time for them to sit on the carpet and there's time for them to run around and play. So if the teachers in school are also struggling to get your child to sit, for example, when they are doing story time, when they're reading, and the child will not be able to sit on the carpet when all the other children are sitting on the carpet. Yes, that will be over the top. And then definitely you need to see a developmental pediatrician, especially if there are other issues as well. Usually for children with developmental issues, it won't just be one thing. They will always have other issues, like they will have difficulties with their speech, or they have difficulties with other area of their development. Then I'm going to recommend you see a developmental pediatrician, so for further developmental assessment. I hope that's helpful. Somebody say, how do you con? I don't. Or Jenica, Daniel, do you want to repost your question? It's incomplete. Then the next person say, my 11-month sleep on her back. Please, can I encourage her to sleep more on her tummy? No, your baby is actually sleeping the right way. Your baby should sleep on the back. So your child is already sleeping on the back. That is the right thing to do. Don't start the wrong thing. No sleeping on the tummy, back to sleep. All babies should sleep on the back. That is it. All the babies on their back. There's what we call sudden infant death syndrome, SIDS. SIDS has been associated with babies sleeping on their tummy or sleeping on with their face down. We don't want that. So what the pediatricians recommend is your baby sleeping on the back. from day one. And I know mothers say, oh, your baby sleep better on their tummy. We're talking about a baby living and dying here. So it's not about convenience. It's about what is the right thing. These are things that are not recommended because the pediatricians like to make life difficult for mothers. No, these are recommendations based on research. People have done research, and it's not just Nigeria. It's not all over the world. These are research. These are what we call evidence-based. So when we recommend things, we don't recommend it because somebody has said that is how it should be done. There must be evidence supporting it. So the current evidence as far as sleep is concerned, baby should sleep on their back, and they don't need too many things on their bed. They don't need all those teddies, studies, this here and there, too many shawl all over their neck. No, the bed should be flat, should be no pillows as well. They don't need pillows. There's nothing that should be on the bed. Should be free of all those things because babies can choke and kill themselves on those things. That is the honest truth. Nothing on the bed. Baby should lie on their back. If at all you want to use shawl, we prefer you wear the right, onesies or pajamas that is thick enough to keep them warm. But if you have to use shawl, maybe the weather is really that cold, use knitted ones so that there's hole inside. So if the baby, for any reason, pulls those clothes over their faces, they can still breathe through them because babies always breathe through their nose. If anything blocks their nose, that is it. So these are reasons why sometimes babies wake up and they're dead and nobody knows what really happened. We call it sudden infant death syndrome. So please, no sleeping on the tummy, back to sleep. You can turn the face on one side, doesn't matter, but back to sleep. So thank you for asking that question because it's so important. All right. So Regina, I need your assistant to run checkup meds for your daddy. Okay, so you're asking question about an adult. Okay, so if it's an adult, we will not be able to help you. We are pediatricians, but I'll recommend this. If your father has a stroke, it is not a Facebook online kind of question. This person has to be with a neurologist in a hospital, not government hospital, private hospital, but your dad needs to be with a neurologist. Okay, the neurologist will see your dad, will prescribe appropriate treatment and physiotherapy, all those stuff. So this is not, there's nothing we can do about it on Facebook. I know we do that a lot in Nigeria. We just want doctors to prescribe drugs and stuff like that. No doctor who is worth to be called a doctor is going to write you a drug just by you saying, oh, my daddy has stroke, just help me prescribe drug. That is not how things are done. A good doctor needs to see your dad face to face, needs to examine your dad. And if your dad, for example, has high blood pressure, they can give drugs for that. If there's no high blood pressure, they need to know why the stroke, and then they can deal with that. They need to do a brain scan and all that. And then usually most of them just need therapies, physiotherapy and all that. So sorry about that experience, but that is what you need to do. All right, I think I've answered all the questions in the question box. We can go back to Facebook. There are some more questions on Instagram, but we can come back later for them. Thank you.
We have so many questions on Facebook.
We'll try.
Okay, you just answered this question on Instagram now about the baby sleeping on her back.
Yes.
I think we can go.
All the babies are doing the right things. It's the mothers that want them to do the wrong things. Baby are already sleeping on their back. Then the mothers want them to be sleeping on their tummy, on their chest. You see, these babies even know more than the mothers. They are listening to the pediatricians. Please let the baby sleep on the back.
Young Queen says, my baby broke her front tooth. Will you go back? The broken part.
How old is this baby? That is the age of a child is so crucial to every question you ask a pediatrician.
Yes.
So the age, if your baby is less than 5 years old, they are having milk teeth. The milk teeth is going to be replaced anyway by permanent teeth. But the baby is already above 6 and broke is teeth, sorry, there's nothing else. The dentist have to fix in a new one for you.
Yeah.
So that is why the age, this question is a typical example of why you must always put the age of your child.
Put the age.
Like my baby, how old is this baby? So that we're sure which one we're dealing with. Okay.
My baby will be 2 weeks tomorrow, and he has catarrh, and I'm scared of breastfeeding him because he can't breathe and chokes when talking. Please, what can I do to clear his nose? Please, I need a pediatrician for my baby in Port Harcourt. Where is your hospital located in Rivers State? I'm new here. Thanks.
All right, thank you so much. ATP does not run hospitals. We don't run hospitals in any state. We are a charity organization, but our professionals also see children. So we run ATP clinics, but we don't do like hospital-based kind of thing. But doctors who work with ATP can see your children in their own practices. So that's number one. So you should keep breastfeeding your baby all the time. Catarrh or no catarrh, your baby actually need the breast milk to clear the catarrh anyway. So, but if your baby is struggling to breathe, which is what I'm getting, the question is the baby's nose blocked with mucus? Like the mucus is not flowing? Because you see, when you use the word catarrh, it gives us the impression that there's something coming out, there's a nasal discharge, and if it is something is flowing out, then the nose should not be blocked. Okay, but some people actually use it to mean there's something like the mucus is in the nose and it's not flowing out, so they also call it catarrh because baby is making that sound. So if your baby does not have fever, your baby is not breathing with difficulties, and the discharge is flowing out of the nose, you don't need to do anything, just keep breastfeeding your baby. But if your baby is having fever, cough, fast breathing, difficulty with breathing, you need to take your child to the hospital. If it is just the nose blocked with thick mucus, you can go to the pharmacy and get what we call normal saline drops. Saline, just the normal saline, they normally use in the drip. But now they put it in a smaller bottle that you can drop in the nose. It is not a antibiotic, it does not stop the catarrh. The reason why we're using nasal drops is to soften the mucus that is blocking your baby's nose. When it softens the mucus, the mucus will flow out. Then you can just clean it with your cloth wipe and all that, and then it is easier for the baby to breathe, because babies normally have to breathe through their nose. So if anything is blocking their nose, they struggle to breathe because their nose is very tiny anyway. So any little thing block it, they can't breathe. So you need to put, if it's a mucus, so if you can see there's mucus there blocking the nose, you can put the saline drops. It will soften the mucus. The mucus will flow, our baby will breathe well. Keep breastfeeding your baby. But if there's nothing blocking the nose, there's no mucus, you cannot see any mucus, but the baby is struggling to breathe, that is difficulty with breathing, that child has to go to hospital. So in Port Harcourt, I'm sure there's a University of Port Harcourt Teaching Hospital. There are, I think there's another mother and child, women and children hospital in Port Harcourt. I can't remember the name, but just you can go to any of them. We don't endorse any particular hospital, so you won't say it's Dr. Gbemi that said you go to this hospital, but make sure it's a hospital that has a pediatrician, then I'm sure you'll be fine. All right.
Okay, thank you, ma. Please, let me add that for as many people that are asking for our one-on-one chat or consultation, please kindly look at the bottom of this our image. You will see something that is going on. You can see our WhatsApp number there. You can see our account number there. Just follow it. Just read through and you can get how to reach out to Dr. Gbemi on one-on-one consultation there. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I've changed my background to put the ones that has all our details. But unfortunately for this on Instagram, I'm not sure you can see that. But let me just drop our WhatsApp number as comments on Instagram.
Okay.
So they can see that. But for those on Facebook, just look at my back or look at our flyers. If you look at our flyers, all those informations are there. So you can see that. Yeah. All right. Okay. So
Thank you, ma.
Oh, time is running. We have to
Okay,
run
good
now.
evening, doctor. My baby of 8 months is having cough and catarrh since last week Monday. He only coughs in the morning. He doesn't cough in the afternoon and night, and he is not eating.
Okay, so if your baby only coughs in the morning, there must be something that irritates him in the morning that doesn't happen in the afternoon. I will not worry about that, but if it's really bad, then you have to see the doctors. But that's number one. Then you said child is not eating. I'm not sure whether that has to do with cough and catarrh, or what do you mean child is not eating? The child is 8 months old, the child not sucking at all, child has no food for 24 hours. Because when parents say my child is not eating, what they actually mean is that your child is not eating as much as you want, not that the child is not eating at all. Because if your child doesn't eat anything at all, then you have to take the child to the hospital. So you have to be very specific with your my child is not eating. Usually when children are sick, they won't eat as much as they would normally eat. It's part of the illness. But as they get better, the appetite to return, they will eat better. So, like I answered the first thing, the last question, if your child is having difficulty with breathing, fever, you need to take the child to the hospital. But if it's just cough and catarrh, most of them are due to viruses. Actually, during the rainy season and all that, or cold season, then it should go by themselves. You don't need to give them cough syrup. Oh, please don't go and buy cough syrup. Oh, just let them be. Keep them warm. Let them take as much as food they can take, something hot or warm, and they'll be fine. But if you are not sure, you have to go to the hospital for further evaluation. All right, and most importantly, keep them away from people who have cough and colds, because usually they catch these things from other people. So that's what normally happen.
My son is 10 months old
Mm.
today. Today I have noted that his poo is mucus-like with blood. He ain't showing any signs of illness and all seems normal, but him, all seems normal with him. But with the poo is disturbing. Kindly advise.
Any blood in the stool is there's nothing normal. That's not normal at all. You have to go to the
Yeah,
hospital now. Okay, it is
yeah.
never normal to see blood in the stool. So if your baby has blood in the stool, doesn't matter how the baby is looking so healthy, you have to go to the hospital now, because we need to know where the blood is coming from. Is the child bleeding in the tummy? Is it something bleeding at the, maybe there's a wound around the anus area, or is there are other causes of bloody stool, something sinister like intussusception and all that. So you really need to go to the hospital if your 10 months old baby have blood in there. So if you are really sure it's blood, anyway, there's a way we will test it to be sure it's blood, because it's not everything that looks red or brownish that is blood. But if you think it's blood, that is enough for me to say you have to go to the hospital now, tonight,
Mm,
not tomorrow. Mhm.
thank you, ma. My daughter can walk now. Before I told you that she was given injection, then she can't walk. But now she can walk, but feeling pain in her leg.
Okay, I'm happy your child is walking, but I will
Mm,
see what I'm still not happy your child is having pain in the leg. So this is not normal.
mm,
Please go and still see the doctors so that you can take it up from there.
mm. Can a lawyer be a volunteer for ACP or must it be medical personnel? I'm interested. Tried the last time but couldn't send requirements.
Okay, anybody can be a volunteer for ATP. I think I said that at the beginning. Maybe you joined us late. Anybody can be. We
Yeah,
welcome you. Just watch out for our link and you can apply. We'll try and put it up by the end, before the end of the week. Thank you.
thank you. Please, doctor, my 2 weeks old boy also has stomach cramps and it makes him uncomfortable.
Okay, I don't know whether it's colic you're trying to say. It's fine. Babies do have colic and all that. Though I would say it's a little bit too early for a 2 weeks old baby. Make sure your baby is not having gas. Sometimes when babies, so at that age, any little thing, gas, anything passing through their tummy make babies feel as if they are uncomfortable. There's nothing really wrong with them. You don't need to be too over worried, over sensitive about any little sound or any little bend. I'm almost sure you're a first time mom. I mean, so don't worry, just relax. These are all passing phases. As babies get older, they become more familiar with their body. They are not surprised
Mm,
So like some people even just ordinary passing gas or stool, they are crying or they are running, they are twisting their body, and mothers worry so much. Don't worry, just let the baby be. All right. So colic we usually refer to when they are really crying and there's really no reason and all that. So yeah. But make sure you don't give your baby bottle feeding as well. Make sure you're exclusively breastfeeding. Make sure you are not allowing baby to cry too much before you breastfeed them, because when they do that, they're sucking a lot of hair and they have to pass out that gas, and that gas makes them uncomfortable. So you really need to deal with all that. So if you're a first time mom, just get a FTM companion. I'm sure that will be very helpful for you. All right, let's move on.
Please, can a baby of 14 months take soya plus in his meal?
What is soya plus? If you mean soya beans, soya milk, whatever, your baby can take soya milk, soya beans, whatever. But I don't know which one is soya plus. We are not sure.
Okay, I think the previous question that I read out without the age of the baby, the one that the front tooth removed. So I think this is the answer. I guess as much.
Oh no, the front tooth remove was somebody that has a name there, so it's not a Facebook user. So I don't.
Okay.
So see, for those of you on Facebook group, we can't see your name. So
We cannot.
yes, you will see your name, but we can see. So you have to put everything together in one post. So if you put your baby's name separate, we will know which of the numerous Facebook users we are seeing that is a correct one. So that information is not. If that information is standing alone, we can't
answer the question.
Can answer. So just ask the question again. Make sure you put the name. I mean the age and the question
And
together.
the age.
Then everything will make sense. Okay, I think our time is running. We are already late.
Yes, our time is past 10.
Let me just run through the remaining. I won't be reading the full question because of time.
Okay.
Then I'll just run through it. And somebody said my baby is itching his eyes seriously. The eyes is red. So that sounds like your child may have what we call conjunctivitis. You need to go to the hospital, and then they can prescribe appropriate and eye drop for your baby. Somebody said my wife and I are worried about our baby's loss of weight from 3 kg to 2.6 in 2 weeks. It's feeding normally. So babies usually lose weight in the first 10 days of life, but they should go back to their birth weight by the day 14. So your baby losing weight is not the issue, but by 2 weeks, baby should go back to 3 kilos. So that is number one. Number two, make sure your baby is breastfeeding exclusively and on demand. So that's what you need to do. And if your baby keep losing weight, then you need to go back to see your pediatrician. So I would recommend checking your baby's weight in another 1 week and make sure you're breastfeeding frequently. When you say feeding normally, you didn't tell me what exactly you're feeding baby weight. I really am interested in that, but we want you to feed on exclusive breastfeeding on demand frequently. Make sure baby is well attached to the breast, and then let's check that weight again. And if it's too low, then you need to see your pediatrician. Hello, doctor. Hello. Somebody saying my baby of 3 months has not been pooing regularly. He can go up to 6 days without pooing. He's both breastfed, formula fed. What can I do, ma? So we recommend exclusive breastfeeding. So if your baby is on formula, you need to give water so that your baby doesn't get constipated. But if you're doing exclusive breastfeeding, your baby may not pass stools every day. They can pass stools maybe once. They can even go up to 2 weeks without passing stool. But when eventually they pass the stools will be soft, normal stool. It won't be hard. So that is what we recommend. So because your baby is on formula now, it's complicating the picture, because formula babies are prone to having constipation. And if it is constipation, that is why you should give water as well. So if you're lactating, your breast milk is flowing, just give your baby breast milk only. There is really no need for the formula. We want you to do exclusive breastfeeding. All right, let me just answer the remaining question on Instagram. Instagram people, thank you for your patience with me. Oh no, where did I stop? It's so long now. Okay, yes, I remember where I stopped now. Okay, how do you control stroke? Okay, I've answered the stroke questions. It's actually for an adult, so not for us. Somebody asked, how do you email us? I think I've dropped our phone number just down now. That's our WhatsApp number. You can also email us askthepediatricians@gmail.com, or if you send us a DM on Instagram, we can still send you all those details on Instagram. Okay, somebody say Damalite cakes. My twin boys 7 weeks, Taiwo 4.5 kilo, Kenny 4.6. Is that their current weight or their birth weight? Anyway, I guess it's their current weight. Recently, Taiwo started refusing bottle feeding, both with me expressing breast milk and formula. He refused. But is he sucking on the breast? Because that's more important for me. I mean, we want baby to suck on the breast. So if Taiwo is sucking on the breast, that is fine. You don't have any problem, because honestly, the pediatrician, we don't like bottle feeding to start with. So let baby suck on the breast directly. So what your baby may be going through is what we call nipple confusion, because you are giving them breast milk, you're also giving them bottle. So they get confused between the two nipples or teeth, as you call it. So they will refuse one and go for the one. So as long as your baby is able to breastfeed, that is fine. I understand that you think as a twin mom, you need somebody to also help you. You can give your baby's milk through cup. There's cup feeding, there's spoon feeding. I know most of you don't like that because it's stressful, but the nurses can teach you how to do cup feeding, and it's as fast as normal. In fact, it's faster than normal breastfeeding. I'm sure the nurses can show you how to do that, so you don't need to worry about that. But breastfeed the baby. So one of your baby has not pulled for 2 to 3 days. It's okay. I think I've answered that question, even though it's not you asking that question, but I've just answered that question. So your baby is on formula. You have to give them plain water after the formula feed. If not, they're going to get constipated. But babies don't have to poo every day. Actually, if they're on breast milk, they may not poo every day, and that is normal. And when eventually they poo, the poo will be soft. It won't be hard. It won't hard stool will mean constipation. But if you see normal stool, that is perfectly normal for them. All right. Can babies sleep on their chest? No, they should sleep on their back. All right. So there are times people do what we call tummy time for their babies. I need to mention that. So when you are doing tummy time, your baby is awake, not sleeping. And we usually say don't do it for more than 5 minutes. So that is when you put baby on their tummy and they're lifting their heads. So that's what we call tummy time. It's fine for you to do tummy time in an awake baby. Once the baby is sleeping, the baby should sleep on their back, not on their chest, not on their tummy, not on their side, but on their back. It's very, very important that we clarify that. Champagne, so please, my baby is 1 year, 4 months. She has malaria infection. She was treated, but she became weak, no strength. So I'm so scared. What should I do? That baby should be in the hospital. If a baby is so weak that you are scared, that baby should be in the hospital. That baby should. So how was the baby treated? So when you go to the hospital, let me just clarify that there are babies that doctors can treat and you go home. Babies that are eating, walking around, but just having, we will treat you, we will prescribe drugs, you go home. If your baby is so weak, they are not eating, they are vomiting, they don't need to go home. They should stay in the hospital. So if your doctor tells you your baby needs to sleep in the hospital, please don't say, I just want to go home, I will go and do it. No, please stay. There are doctors, we usually don't like keeping babies in the hospital if we can help it. But if a child is so weak that you are scared, that child has no business being at home. That child needs to be in the hospital under the monitoring eyes of the health professionals, maybe on drip and all that. So your child, if you can go back to the hospital now, please do. It's better that way because we don't want any emergencies, It's better to go back to the hospital. Okay, somebody say my 10-month-old baby has cough and catarrh. What can I use for her? I think I've answered this question several times today. Just to recap, most cough and catarrh in babies less than 1 year, most of them are due to viruses. They are due to viral infections. What that means is that most of them don't need any drugs. Viruses usually run their course, usually 2 weeks, and they will stop. So you don't need to give any medication, you don't need to give anything. As long as there's no fever, there's no fast breathing, then that's all. I think this week or next week is pneumonia. We're celebrating. Okay, it's on Saturday. Saturday is pneumonia day. So we'll talk about pneumonia
On
again.
Saturday.
Yeah, so pneumonia, there are signs of pneumonia: fast breathing, difficulty with breathing, usually high fever. Then that one, they have to go to the hospital because they will need antibiotics. Otherwise, if it's just cough and catarrh, just leave them, it will go. Keep them away from people who are coughing, who have catarrh, and all those things. That's what you need to do. If the nose is blocked, you can put saline drops in the nose to soften the catarrh. It is not a cure, because some people tell me, oh, doctor, I've been putting the saline drops, the catarrh is not going. The saline drop is not to treat the catarrh. The saline drop is to soften the mucus, and so that it will flow out, and then your baby's nose will not be blocked with it. I think I managed to finish answering all the questions. Thank God. All right. I think we've answered all the questions on Instagram, and I think on Facebook as well.
On Facebook, we have about 3 more questions on Facebook. Do you think we should answer them, or they should ask on the group?
How do I do? Okay, I think if you some of these questions you can ask them on our Facebook group. Okay, well, let me just answer them 1 second. How do I deal with 2-year-old with tantrums? You deal with it like a mother, all right? But sometimes you just leave them, but sometimes you just let them, distraction and all that will help. If you go to our Facebook group, we have more detailed answer, because right now I'm trying to give a 1-minute answer, so I don't think I will be able to give you details. But go to our Facebook group, we have details on parenting there. For Intola Jai, 3 months losing her hair. Sometimes babies lose their hair. It's natural for them to lose their hair. Their hair will grow back. As long as there is no rash in the scalp or anything, there's nothing to worry about. But if there's something on the scalp like rashes and all that, then you need to see a doctor for treatment. Somebody say, would like to be giving my baby of 6 months hot warm water. Why do you even need to give them hot warm water in the first place? Or you say a hot water bath you're talking about? Do you understand that question? Because
I don't understand the question.
But one, you don't give water. If you mean drinking water, you don't need to have given water to your 6-month-old baby at all. You should give them only breast milk. When they start eating complementary feed at 6 months, you give them normal water, not hot, not cold, just normal tap water, temperature water.
Room temperature.
So, but if you're talking about bathing the baby, because sometimes I'm not really sure, then there's really no reason for hot water as well. Normal temperature water would do. But I know a lot of mothers like warm water. Just be careful of burns. That is our main worry about it. All right. I think we've answered all the... Oh, you mean drinking water? Oh, thank God. Thank you for clarifying. Your baby should drink normal water. The normal water, not high cold water, not hot water, normal water. Oh, Abimala disappeared. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Thank you so much for all those who have asked questions. If you still have any question, please go to Ask the Paediatrician's Facebook group. You can't miss our Facebook group. It's one of the biggest Facebook group. You can drop your questions there. And for those of you who want to have private one-on-one consultation, you can see all our details behind me. Let me make it easier for them to see. So you can see, or you can just go to our Facebook group and ask those kind of questions. Somebody would direct you. Thank you so much. And just to remind you again that we're going to be recruiting volunteers, moderators, interns. If you have skills that you know will be beneficial to the African children through our platform of Ask the Paediatricians Foundation, you are welcome to. Everybody's a volunteer. We don't pay anyone. So from the CEOs to the to every moderator, volunteer, we are all volunteering. So you are welcome to join us. But we can assure you that you'll feel fulfilled, making a difference in the life of Nigerian and African children. We're actually in Ghana as well, for those of you who are Ghanaians.
Yeah.
TP Ghana, and hopefully we'll be spreading to all the other West African countries very soon. All right, so thank you so much. I'll see you again next week. by God's grace. Omolara.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us today. Please don't forget to go on our Facebook page, invite people to follow us as well, and keep your question rolling in there. And don't forget, same time next week, meet with Dr. Gbemisola Boyede. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Good night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.